Let's get it. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some major cryptocurrency news. We will take a look at Bitcoin update after the weekend, see how we closed out and how we're shaping up here for the next leg up of this bull run. We will also be taking a look at XRP, some amazing news that just came out, and we'll be playing around with a couple fractals for both Bitcoin and XRP that have panned out before. So let's go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Cabin. In today's video, we're going to be chatting about some major cryptocurrency news. We're also going to be chatting about Bitcoin and XRP and playing around with some fractals that have happened in the past to see where we could potentially be going in the future. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to scroll on down, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and then click the notification bell and select all so you get notified for when I post new videos. So without any further ado, let's jump right in here. Mastercard says that any bank or merchant on its vast network can now soon offer crypto services. So this is huge news for the crypto space in general. As they say in this CNBC article, the crypto economy is about to expand big time. Mastercard is a huge company and has a ton of people using their services. So any of the thousands of banks and millions of merchants on its payment network can soon integrate crypto into their products. So that's going to include Bitcoin wallets, credit card, debit cards, reward cards in crypto that enables you to digital assets to be spent, and loyalty programs so that you can convert your hotel points, maybe airline points, back into Bitcoin. To do so, the network is partnering with Bakkt, the crypto recently spun off by Intercontinental Exchange. It will be behind the scenes provider. So they want to offer all partners the ability to more easily add crypto services. This is breaking down that barrier to entry big time. Our partners, be they banks, fintechs, or merchants, can offer their customers the ability to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrency through an integration with the Bakkt platform. This announcement could lead to a significant expansion in the ways regular Americans earn and spend Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. As it says here, Mastercard has relationships with more than 20,000 financial institutions around the world, and there are more than 2.8 billion Mastercards in use. Besides providing crypto wallets and credit cards for banks, the partnership means that even merchants and restaurants can begin to offer rewards in Bitcoin instead of traditional points. So that means that people can use whatever points they earn and convert it into crypto instead of, using those points for their flights or maybe a free meal or whatever those points can be used for. You can now use that to convert it into crypto, and existing points will also be able to be converted into crypto. Like I said before, lowering the barrier to entry big time. So people maybe won't even need to worry about setting up all these different wallets with different accounts like Coinbase, Crypto.com, KuCoin, whatever. You can just simply buy what you normally buy, earn points, convert it into crypto through this Mastercard's expansion. So this is incredible. Like I said, lowering the barrier to entry. Tons of people use Mastercard, and they are now going to have the ability to provide crypto services. That is the biggest news of the day, or the most recent last couple days, in my opinion. Now we also have Bitcoin bull market second leg has started, says this Bitcoin price model creator. So this Plan B, he's the creator of the stock to flow model. He has kind of said that now that we've passed all-time highs, the possibility of $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year is definitely still in play. So the second leg appears to have started here. We've got the red line, which is right now. We had the first big run up, now we've had a pullback, and now it looks to be like we are starting another run. So it is anticipated that Bitcoin will continue another leg higher, reaching 100,000 to 135,000 by the end of the year. And the stock to flow model shows that it could potentially reach $288,000. And I'll show you, based on a little bit of analysis I've done, that is lining up quite well, those numbers. I know that's a big range, but we just need to keep an eye on where Bitcoin is at certain points in time as to when it could potentially mark the top. Plan B also noted earlier in the year that Bitcoin will reach 98,000 by November and 135,000 by December. So here is my Bitcoin chart that I have been working on for the rest of this bull cycle here, the next leg up. We are in this uptrend here, as we can see. And this fib retrace, or sorry, not fib retracement, this fib extension is coming from the very bottom, right when we started this first big run up to the peak, and then I drew it back down to the retracement level, back down to just under 30,000 there. So when we do that, we get these numbers: 127,000, 1.618, 188,000 at the 2.618, and 250,000 at the 3.618. So they said that Bitcoin could potentially go up to $288,000. That's kind of their peak for this run, according to the stock to flow model, and the 4.236 lines up at pretty close to that number as well. So that is quite interesting. There's a few other things that are quite interesting that I've been seeing in the charts as well. So we're going to play around with some fractals here. This first fractal was shown to me by Tyler S. Crypto, actually. So if you don't follow him, make sure to go and check him out. Okay, so this first fractal is from last year. In the September, there has been traditionally a little bit of a sell-off in September, and then we get a big run-up to the end of the year. So let's do that. So we take this fractal from there to the very top where we kind of peaked out at the beginning of the year in 2021. Let's drag that over top here. So we've got the September dump, and then the run up. It's not lining up 100% perfectly, but it's pretty darn close. We see now it's lining up decently close on the way up. We are right in that yellow targeted box, which is pretty interesting. I hadn't seen this fractal before until Tyler S. pointed it out. He also talked about how we had this first run up, it came back down, and then we continued running up. So let's say that happens. From this September crash, we run all the way up, we maybe get a pullback, and we continue up for another leg. So we get to there, and we get that same potential peak in the box. We could see a potential retracement back down to right around the 1.618, and then run up to the very top of this channel towards the, what would this be, end of January. So I know there's two different kind of theories right now that I am paying attention to. One is that we're going to have a big run up towards the end of the year, because that's what has happened in the two previous bull cycles. At the end of the year, we have this big run up. The second theory is that we see the cycles continue to get longer. The second cycle is longer than the first, and so it's potentially making sense that this third cycle here could be longer than 2017. So that's where this red line is if we continue to lengthen at the same rate as we did from the first to the second, and we do that again from the second to the third, this is where we could potentially, get to. But we need to obviously wait and see how everything plays out. It is just interesting to know that that fractal from early, or from 2020, when we lay it up over top, lines up exactly with the target box that I've had for a couple weeks now. And if we do get a retracement back down, the next leg up would bring us right to the top of this channel that I have been looking at for a while as well. Now let's take a look at the fractal from 2017. So again, there was a dump here in September, and then we ran up again. So dump in September, big run up to the peak. Now let's take that and drag it over here. Dump in September, again, not lining up 100%, they never do 100%, but it is tracking pretty decently. There's the dump, that was the big dump, and then the next few candles are tracking pretty close. And then now we see that it could potentially, this is lining up with, again, the end of December, this fractal would, and it would bring it right to 250k Bitcoin by the end of December. So a couple fractals that are pointing to a couple different scenarios, two of which are pointing to a big run up before the end of the year. Like I said in a couple of my previous videos, the end of 2021 obviously comes before Q1 and Q2 of 2022. So that is the mentality that I am having right now. I'm expecting this to run up until the end of 2021. And then if we're not at these price levels by the end of 2021, then that extending cycle definitely would come into play in my mind at that point. But like I said, we'll just need to take it day by day and week by week as we look at these charts. Another interesting thing is that both of these fractals line up with Plan B's prediction of $98,000 by the end of November. So this candle here would be the end of November. We would have a $98,000 Bitcoin there. That is right in that candle. Then he says $135,000 in December. Yep, we're up there. And the other fractal shows the same thing. I'll show you that fractal again. So this is the fractal from this year that I'm going to lay over top of there again now and show you that November, end of November, where is it? There it is. End of November, we would be right in around that $98,000 Bitcoin. By December, we would be up at $135,000. And then this scenario, like I said from before, we could see a run up. If the fractal repeats from last year, we would have a run up, a pullback, and then another run up to right around $250,000 Bitcoin in January. One more interesting thing to note is the first peak happened at the end of November. Second peak happened mid to end December. So if we've been extending by a month, it could also make sense that we peak out late to mid-January. But like I said, first and foremost, let's take a look at the end of 2021. As we near the end of 2021, let's take a look at that. Then I'm going to be taking a look at the end of January, and then we would look at the potential for an extension into Q1 and Q2 of 2022 if we are to see these extending cycles. Next, let's quickly talk about Ripple XRP. So I know they're two different things. Sorry. Let's talk about Ripple and then we'll take a look at XRP. So Ripple is the one that is currently in the SEC lawsuit case. I know that that is playing a big factor in, I'm sure, holding the price down. However, they keep moving. They're not staying stagnant, which I think is a fairly good sign. Like, they're not stopping, they're continuing to push forward. They're partnering with a bunch of different things. And right here, they are starting a collaboration with PYYPL for on-demand liquidity in the Middle East. MENA stands for Middle East, North America as well. So, but they're going into the Middle East right now, where there's 2 of the top 3 remittance corridors in that region, where they did $78 billion transferred last year. So this is a company that provides financial services to clients globally, and we know that's kind of what Ripple's whole idea is going to be able to provide cheap transactions, cross-border payments, and have things done around the world. So the goal of this I don't know if it looks like PayPal. PYYPL is what I'm going to say, people. And the goal of this partnership with Ripple is to give 1 billion unbanked users with smartphones access to digital payments in that region. So many of them may have smartphones, but they don't have access to a bank. There are a lot of people that are unbanked in the world still, and so the idea is to bring some value to them. Ripple has already set up a regional office in this region in Dubai, which we know the UAE is one of the biggest, wealthiest spaces in the world, and a crypto hub for sure. Another interesting fact, like I said, Ripple's moving forward, not slowing down. They've actually performed 4 times more transactions this year than they have last year. Even with the case going on and everything, they're still pushing forward. So I know I've had a lot of people ask about this, and let's see where I can potentially see it going here in the future, in this bull run even potentially. So there is a 4-year, well, 3-year, I should say, 4-year-ish long cup and handle that is potentially playing out here. Cup and handle is usually quite a bullish signal. So if I eliminated some of the wicks here, so yeah, that's where I eliminated the wicks from, was on the monthly. And if we take from the top of the cup to the bottom and say we applied that to, if we were to break out here, the measured move from there would be getting up to close to a $3 XRP. Now let's go back to the weekly here and take a look at what I'm seeing unfold, and we'll play around with a couple fractals here as well. So last bull cycle we had this triangle forming before we shot up roughly 1,500%, I think, almost 1,600%. It looked like XRP was obviously doing nothing, and then shoots up in 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So when it moves, and we know it has the capability to move extremely quickly. It's done it before. I know it's being suppressed right now, and the case obviously has a huge factor on this, and a lot of people are saying it's not going to get settled anytime soon. We have no idea. We are not in those meetings, and who knows. What we are forming over here, though, from a purely technical analysis standpoint, like I'm saying, not taking into account other factors, this is purely technical analysis. We are forming another triangle here, which we could see a breakout from. We don't know for sure. This does look like it could potentially be like a bull flag, but we need to just wait and see how this pans out. This triangle back here is quite a bit bigger than this one, so let's try a different triangle. We could potentially draw those lines all the way back to here, and it could look something like that. And then if this starts to pan out this way, we've got a slightly bigger triangle here. So we have a couple more weeks within this triangle before I believe we could expect a breakout. So if we were to see the same type of breakout after we hit the bottom here, it was like almost 1,600%, let's say 1,500%. So from the bottom, let's say it breaks out from there, the bottom of the triangle up 1,600%, we would be close to, let's say we'll go 1,500, we would be, that's $16+ XRP. Don't know if that's going to happen. That is extremely high. Did happen before. We'll need to wait and see what happens, obviously. Then I've got some fib retracements and fib extensions here that are lining up with different levels, and this is where some of my price targets have come from. So obviously I do believe that we need to surpass all-time highs first before we go anywhere further. This needs to happen first and foremost, so we do need to get above this kind of $3.25 level first. Then we could have the 1.618 on over here running at 350. Then we've got from these fib extensions and this fib retracement, there's a big kind of cluster here around $5.20 up to $5.50. So that would be your level here that I would be looking out for to potentially see some resistance at. Then there's another big cluster here at around $7 to $7.50, even up to, well, this whole thing really between $7 and $8.50 is going to be another big range, because there's a lot of different levels coming into play there, in my opinion. And then the most bullish scenario here from this extension, the 3.618 is all the way up at 11 and could potentially get up to $13 according to this move here from way before. But I'm going to keep an eye on, obviously, these levels first. Obviously, we need to break through this resistance line here as well. So I'm looking for here to break through the $1.50 mark, solidify ourselves above that, and then continue on to break all-time highs, and then we're going to start paying attention to these other levels here. There is also a fractal with XRP that could potentially play out here. So we have this dump here right near the end of the triangle, which is reminiscent of this. We come down and then we spike up big time. So from here, this dump, and then the big spike up. Let's take that over here. So there's the dump. It's kind of lining up within that triangle as well. And then this major spike. Like I said, this is if that 1600% pump comes into play. We could come all the way up to a $15 to $16 XRP if history repeats itself. This is showing by the end of November. Yeah, I don't think that is super realistic, but I have seen that fractal just looked somewhat similar from there all the way up. That same kind of pullback, but with this little run up before as well. This is all speculation. We have no idea, but I do think if the case gets solved, we are going to see a big run up at some point. That is what, in my opinion, is potentially shaping up for XRP. Obviously, we don't know. We need to always wait and see and let the charts tell us what to do. I do have a little bag of XRP. It's not my biggest holding by any means, but I don't necessarily hold it because I like what it's doing. I know the whole idea of XRP, the whole idea of cryptocurrency was to move away from banks, and XRP is kind of the banking coin. But if they're going to use it, and it's going to get a lot of use case out of it, and a lot of transactions are going through it, it is going to go up at some point if we get through this SEC lawsuit. So, like I said, I have a little bag of it. It's not my biggest holding, but I'm holding it because of the potential gains, not because I necessarily love the project or anything like that. And that is it for today, team. Thank you so much for watching, and if you got some value out of this video, please scroll on down, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and then select the notification bell, and click on all so you get notified for when I post these new videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time on the next episode from the Crypto Cabin.